All right, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you that 2023 is going to be for the year for this man, our guest, who we call Mr. Sportswire, the lawman Kyle Kennedy. And if you've been following his social media, which I highly encourage that you do so, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, he is basically given a declaration to anybody that gets in his way. He's going to maim you. He's going to steamroll you. He's going to tell us all that plus much, much more. And we're going to see him here. Who knows? Maybe get some gold and some places that will see him. And he's going to tell us all that here. So let's get to it. What's up? Wait for it. Further ado here on the Sports Report. Number one, the most macho with pro wrestling star here. They call Mr. Sportswire, the Lawman. Kennedy. Kennedy. Mr. Sportswire, happy belated New Year.
Thank you very much. And same to you, my friend.
Absolutely, and one of your brethren in the society, Callum Jakester, who I'm sure will get on here very soon once again, says, my boy with the black heart. But a lot to get into here with the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. There is a lot to talk about here because, as always, you're a part of a number of different things going on, especially in places like Nonstop Action Wrestling, Wrestling Appreciation Society. So set the tables for us, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, because I want to bring up your video that you posted a few weeks back. And I feel like almost every name I could think of was basically declarations were thrown, sparks were thrown. Tell us why 2023 is going to be the year of the lawman, Kyle Kennedy.
So, 2021, I started in this business. It took me 6.5 months, and I debuted in December of that year. 2022, streaks, main events, multiple companies, championship matches, everything under the sun. This year, I'm done taking a back seat. I feel like I didn't. I carried NSAW on my back. I carried WAS from its inception on my back. At certain points, myself and the society have carried Blackheart, UKW, GTM, and so on our backs. I'm done taking a back seat. I'm no longer going to wait at the back of the line and say, please, sir, can I get through? Nah, I'm smashing the hell through. I'm done waiting.
All right, well, I've got a bunch of comments already, so people seem to be fired up. First of all, I'm going to go to the, for now, Nonstop Action Wrestling World Class Champion, who will be defending that title, I know, very soon at Fatal Attraction against the former champion, the wildcard Tommy Dillon, Disciple, who, but by the way, made quite a statement at GT Ministries last weekend, and that is Disciple. He is the head of our table, says, good evening, gents. The world champion is in the house. Callum Jakester says no one asked Disciple. Well, I'll let those guys sort that out. Wrestling Appreciation Society is saying hello to us. I'm sure we'll speak about them. Anthony Finkel says, it's the lawman Kyle Kennedy. For those of you who are too stupid to read, best promo ever. Sending my support from New York City, the Big Apple. That's why we love Anthony J. Finkel. And DPH and Anthony Finkel was also in the news yesterday. He was on television about bald eagles being spotted. So that was kind of an interesting story. I'm going to get to him in a second. That is the nomad Dalton Garrett, because he says championship matches, but no gold. I know we're going to get to him. And Disciple says, at least spell my name right, which, to be fair, Disciple has a point on. Good evening, gents. Want to give a big shout out to one of our favorites here. And Supersonic Sammy Blue. What's up with this? Oliver Kyle Twist Kennedy? But okay, we'll come back to some of that here. But I feel like in a lot of ways that you do have a point. I'll come back to Disciple. I'll come back to some of these other people. But I have a point, and I do think that in management, there's been a double standard towards you. And last night was a perfect example of the double standards because we saw one thing go down and then another thing go down where all of a sudden Joshua Snow, the chairman, just all of a sudden made a call. Not only did he make a call putting Dan Robertson into a match with young Horace, he actually interjected himself, making himself the special referee. So you know what, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy? There is a point that you have that there has been, maybe in certain places like nonstop action wrestling, a double standard toward you and your brethren in the society.
It used to be a running theme, and no one would believe me. And no one's going to continue to believe me because I'm, again, the proverbial bad guy, right? I'm the big bad heel, right? Now, again, I keep saying this. I'm just a truther. And what do people not like hearing the most? The truth. Just look at a few months back, and it's funny that Sammy pops up because his little buddy interjected himself in the Northern Division Championship match for no reason other than in that match with his friend to help give his friend that title. And then we've got Joshua Snow, supposed chairman, when we all know who the real boss around here is, Richard Knight, interjecting himself matches that don't concern him. It's ridiculous. Management is run awry. I've been saying it since day one and no one's listened to me. No one's believed me. Maybe now you'll start to take note when something eventually goes wrong. When the sugar honey iced tea, if you will, hits the fan, because I can't say the certain word that spells out. It's the fan, and you all come crawling to me and saying, Kyle, you were right. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Then, and only then, will I say you're welcome.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, those are certainly some points here, very strong points from the Lawman and Kyle Kennedy. And let's come to the present for a second, because obviously we do have something pretty big that's going to happen next weekend. And I will get to Dan Robertson shortly in a second. I'll come back to him. But I want to talk about February the 4th upcoming, because this is where everything you talked about in the video, some of the other things that we've seen take place, could finally come into fruition, because the society is going to be in action, and we could very well see you guys become the first ever nonstop action wrestling world tag team champions. So let's talk about what we can expect next weekend there, as you guys are all going to be in the house.
Plain and simple, what you can expect is the society walking out with the NSAW Tag Team Championships around our waists. Plain and simple. Whether it's Remus and Callum, whether it's myself and Callum, whether it's myself and Remus, oh, there's a little shocker in there, and so whether even Jenny is interjected. Fair, regardless. Like I said, I and we, the society, are done sitting at the back of the line, waiting. We are taking everything, and we start to go on in 2023 when we become, next Saturday, the 4th of February, at the Kirkwood Hospice Charity Show at the UKW Arena, when we become your inaugural non-stop action wrestling team champions. Either way, regardless, those titles are coming home with the society.
All right, I'm going to come back to that, but I do have a ton of comments, so let me try to get to everybody, because I do feel a little bit bad. last night's guest, the Cult of Killjoy, Mr. Dan Robertson, who, by the way, had his own post where he did, in a way, kind of said, "You're all right with him," says, "Unjust, bias, and blatant favoritism. Knights is the ruler of Ensaw. Myself and Kyle are the truth of Ensaw." Supersonic Sammy Blue, our Northern Division champion, says, "So it's not okay when Joshua Snow and Champ Rogers do it, but it's okay when Richard Knights does it. Something doesn't add up." Do you want to directly respond to that?
Did I say it was okay? Did those words come out of my mouth, Sammy, you moron? Did I say, oh, well, Richard interjected themselves in All Hallows Eve, but it's not okay for Champ to do it at Nuclear Winter and for Joshua Snow to do it at Fatal Attraction? Now, those words never came out of my mouth. I'll be honest with you, I had no idea that Richard Knights and Remus Kane was going to take out the referee and Richard Knights was going to be interjected as a special guest referee. I didn't know about that until I got out there. But you know what? It made it a hell of a lot easier and a hell of a lot more fun. And you know what? I don't know why you're crying and complaining about it, because your precious little bestie, Champ, came out on reverse the decision at the end of the day. So whilst you're there dyeing your hair in ridiculous, ugly shade of blue, even more so, to match that gorgeous championship that you have, that I will one day have, by the way, it's only a matter of time. Listen to these words that are going to come out of my mouth. Not once have I ever said Richard Knights should and was worthy and should have deemed him as such to interject themselves into that match. Like, I had no idea that was going there. But I was okay with it because, again, it made things easier. But you know what? At the end of the day, again, Sammy Best Bud came out and ruined the party, ruined the society party, as everyone else has their little fun. The moment the society decide to spin things and turn things upside down, oh, suddenly it's wrong, done, and it's not okay. But suddenly when Champ Rogers interjects themselves into the Northern Division final, or when Joshua Snow interjects himself into something that doesn't involve him in the slightest, it makes no sense. But of course, because it's me, because it's Richard Knights, we're the bad guys, and oh, well, it's all right for them to do it, but not for them. Shut up. Just shut up. That's all
Let
I've got
me
to
ask
say,
you a
Tom.
question. Sure. Let me ask you a question on this, and I'm thinking about this as I'm hearing you speak, as we are here with the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy, pro wrestling star here from several companies. You're going to see him at the Tommy Dillon Wrestling for Kirkwood Hospice show coming up next Saturday. For more information, you can go to pretty much a number of different pages, and the society will be in action. But I was thinking about this, and Joshua Snow has a comment. I'll come back to him. I promise you. I'll get to Snow. But I'm thinking about this as you're speaking, and tell me your
Of
thoughts on this.
course.
Tell me though your thoughts on this. I'm going to try to be as objective as I can here on this. So, in a lot of companies that we come on with Sportzwire Radio and talk about their promotions, whether it's in CCW and it's James Barris, whether it's in GT Ministries, and for all intents and purposes, right? It's Gareth Angel and KOW, it's ALP, and all these different companies, right? It's one person that's pretty much that boss, that promoter, right? Would you feel that maybe that's the direction to keep everybody happy in nonstop action wrestling? Whether it's Joshua Snow, whether it's Richard Knight, whether it's anybody else that's independent of the process, is that's the way to go about it? Where we keep everybody kind of saying, you know what? All right, that's fair. I mean, what's your response toward that?
You can't keep everyone happy. At some point or another, someone else is going to get fed up or miserable or angsty about something. Whether it's a little deal, someone's going to find some little nitpicky things and have a little go. So you know what? I find it ridiculous that there's so many people in management. I find it ridiculous that Joshua Snow has gone out of his way to give Champ Rogers, who is active talent on the roster, he hasn't gone out and seeked anyone else within the wrestling business from management. No, he's gone to Champ Rogers, of all people, a man who, by the way, is yet to beat me, can I just add? And
I
yet
know we had you on together
he's
with
not
him
going.
in the spot right after he came back from his injury. Yep, because of you. Yep, I remember it.
Doesn't make sense. And then we got, of course, the proverbial good person, bad person thing with Joshua Snow and Mick Knights. I'm not in management. Again, I'm just talent. I'm just a roster member. But, it's, like I said, you can't keep everyone happy. Someone's going to complain about something.
Okay,
Perfect way for me, I think, is Richard Knight's not at the helm. I find it incredibly ridiculous that Champ Rogers is co-GM for some odd reason. Again, when he's active roster talent, why can't it just be Mick Knights and Joshua Snow at the helm? I think it will make things far more easier. And have actual management, not some toss-pop monk who thinks he's management and likes to play the big I am and look at me, look what I can do. I could care less. I know what you can do in that ring, and what you can do, and what you've always done is lose to me, Exordium, and then other shows. You just can't get. It makes no sense. You might as well add me in management. I'm a winner. I'm a proven winner.
I'm just throwing it out here, and because I do look at it and saying that you have this dynamic in nonstop action wrestling where talent. I mean, I even go back to when we selected into the tournament to crown the world class champion. I remember actually having. I know people forget about this, but I remember having Disciple here way back, and he was like, "What's going on here with management?" I mean, I know people could say what you want about that, and he was never included in that tournament. By the way, we talked about it with you with what happened with Connor Cage. I mean, there is some talent that seems to be questioning these decisions. I'm not trying to say what the perfect solution is, but maybe there has to be some type of process where talent can't be consistently complaining. I mean, let me get to Joshua Stone though, because I do have a bunch of people that seem like they're triggered by it. But let me come back to Joshua Stone. Excuse me for trying to install order into nonstop action wrestling. You and your society brother. I'm not sure if you means me or Kyle Kennedy, because I'm not the one that's the competitor here. But I'll read it off here. Have been given Okay, so I've been given multiple opportunities in Ensol and multiple other companies, and you've used all the underhanded tactics in your arsenal, and you still couldn't get your own way. You want to respond to that?
Just once, or I say just once, I've already done it before. I'd like to punch Joshua Snow in the face and give him a nice, good reality check. Maybe it just doesn't need to be me. Maybe it needs to be the entire city that does that. Gives him a reality check. I reckon Mick Knights could give them a run for his money. It's ridiculous. He comes in here. He's not the boss. He likes to think he is. Behind the scenes and off camera, Richard Knights does everything. What does Joshua Snow? He's just your patriarchal, look at me on camera person. And I bet that just burns your piss that I'm saying that, doesn't it, Snow? But it's true. And again, you're going to get aggy and arsey about it. But again, you're not going to like it because, again, what is it? The truth. And you're not going to like that. Society member Kyle Kennedy, big bad evil. Oh, he triggers everyone. He shoots on everyone, and he does this and says this. Oh no, what's Kyle Kennedy gonna say this week? Oh, he can't say that. He can't expose and talk about toxic people within wrestling. That's not mean, Kyle. You can't do that. Oh, why can't wrestling just be a happy, fun little place for everyone just to get along? Well, you see, that's what I've been trying to do since day one. But believe it or not, I've had people like you, Josh, put your thumb on me and keep me down and try and keep me silent. That's the problem. You can't do it, can you?
Maybe the answer is, and I have a ton of people that want to basically chime in. Maybe the answer is somebody outside of nonstop action wrestling that doesn't have a vested interest. I know some people might say, well, how do you find that person? But you can't have it where one side's like, yeah, that's great. The other side, that's not. That's not how it works in management. I mean, listen, we have promoters on all the time, and they don't have these same issues. But I'll come back to that in a second. Uncle Ralph, of course, from CCW, and we have some society brethren who are going to be in the house for CCW's Fighter Strike 2, their Rumble. We also have Dan Roberts who's going to be in the house there. So Uncle Ralph, I'm sure, will be watching. I'm sure he will certainly be very curious how things go on there. Supersonic Sammy Blue says, I don't know if you know, Dan, you've left your caps locks on. You're welcome. Okay. Zip It Bluey and Zip It Man Bun. Shut up, Twink. Remus Kane. Certainly Remus Kane. By the way, Remus Kane, somebody that we are going to get on Sportswire Radio. We had some scheduling conflicts last week. We're supposed to have Remus Kane on, but we certainly know that Mr. Kane will be back to Sportswire. We actually have a lot to talk about, so we definitely are in the works of getting Remus Kane back on. So thank you, Remus Kane, for coming on here and saying we've been waiting for our goal for far too long. We will become the first ever NSWOR Tag Team Champions, and no Snow or Rogers will deny us our prize. Let me ask you a follow-up to that. And do you think it would be more sweeter because it's going to be the first ever NSWOR Tag Team Champions that the society will claim that? And also on top of that, do you guys feel more confident that this will happen because in a way it's at an outside venue? It's at a venue that's not for nonstop action wrestling. Give me your thoughts on both that.
I just know it already pisses people off, and once it happens and once the society win those titles, it's going to pee them off a lot more. Because again, we are the truthers. We are the light in a dark world. And trust me, when it happens, not if, but when it happens, believe me, things will never, ever, ever be the same. You're in for the ride of your life, people. And I am not sorry for what's about to happen. It's going to be sweet, sweet, sweet. Come next Saturday, February 4th, when the society walk out into the UKW arena in Batley. We walk out your inaugural NSAW Tag Team Champions in enemy territory, you could say. Because that ain't our place, that ain't our home. The Asylum, the Beachfront Fitness Centre, all the way in Swindon, that's our home. But I bet it just burns the piss of certain people that NSAW is coming to their home and crowning champions at their venue, and it's going to be the society that walks out with them, because you can no longer hold us under your thumb. You have no idea what's coming, no idea what's in store.
And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, that's reasons why you need to follow the Lawman Kyle Kennedy at Mr. Justice Kyle Kennedy on Instagram, the Lawman K Kennedy on Twitter as well. Also, if you're on Facebook, go and follow his page, because I am telling you, he's going to have some big things ahead here. But let me try to get to everybody back here. Lawrence Breeze from Blackheart Wrestling had kind of an interesting thought, which I think kind of was similar to what I was saying. Perfect setup is a trivium parade. That way there's always a majority decision. Yes, and I have experience in that in different things, and that was kind of where I was going. There has to be a different process, maybe. That's up to Nonstop Action Wrestling's management. That's my suggestion. Supersonic Sammy Blue says, strong words coming from the guy with the dodgy blonde highlights, babe. I mean, what's the issue with the hair?
Don't call me babe, you freak.
Let me come back, though.
I'm not your babe, you freak.
I might become a general manager, too, for the hell of it, just to piss off California. But I would remind Supersonic Sammy Blue on one thing.
That wouldn't surprise me. That really wouldn't surprise me.
But he's got his own issues. He's got his own issues because the Irish Wonder, Chris Murphy, has him in his crosshairs. So I would say stay tuned on that. Shelby Sinar says, Kennedy in caps locks. Shelby there. Always give a big shout out to Shelby.
I love Shelby.
I'm going to come back to Champagne Charlie and the Nomad Dalton Garrett in a second, but I want to talk
Oh,
about another I have another company that is tuned in that we are going to have coverage for in the next few weeks on Sportswire Radio. I want to make sure that management knows that because we have certainly need to talk about them. That is the Wrestling Appreciation Society. They have a few things to say about you, the Lawman, Kyle Kenny. So let me read the first of two comments. Although we remain unbiased at Wrestling Appreciation Society, without the help in tax, or I guess talks, with Joshua Snow, Kyle Kennedy wouldn't have been the first man announced for our upcoming show deadline. We understand your point, Kyle, but we also see it from a behind-the-scenes aspect that Mr. Snow is presenting you a lot of opportunities. We have no agenda towards you, Kyle. Just to clarify, simply professional. Would you like to respond to that?
you know, I've got no issue or problem with an appreciation society. My issue is solely with a certain somebody in that company and on that show, and then you all know who it is.
Yes, we do.
It's
Yes,
the
we do.
franchise. Oh,
He does say it like that, by the way.
dude spells his name out like literally. The franchise! The franchise of what? Who are you? You're
He
nobody.
does say it that way.
You've been training for 6 months. You've shown zero franchise whatsoever. You've not built anything. I've helped build your company more than you have. I've helped promote and build your show more than you have. What have you franchised, Johnny? Other than how much of a Johnny you really are. And that's a British slang, so you probably won't get that, Tom, but that's okay. Listen, I have nothing but ironic, because it's called the Appreciation Society, but I have nothing but for the Wrestling Appreciation Society, because I was the first named, and sure, if you want to play it like it was in cahoots and talks with Joshua Snow, sure, you can play it off like that. We all know that's not the truth, but sure, you can try it like that. But Deadline is a hell of a show. It's for a great cause, just like next Saturday is for a great cause. I'm never one to step in the way to fondle and bundle an opportunity when I see it, when it comes to supporting and donating to great causes. I myself have donated my own money to said causes. So if I was that much of a bad guy, if I was that much of a whiny complainer who doesn't get his own way and only ever moans, would I have gone out my way to donate my hard-earned money to your shows, to your charities? No, I would have just kept it for myself and gone to KFC and ordered myself a bucket or something. I didn't.
Well, I wouldn't blame you on the KFC part. I wouldn't blame you on that. All right, but let me come back to next Saturday's show, because Disciple makes a great point in promoting it. That next Saturday is going to be one hell of a show. Some big matches. I mean, the Society will be in the house. We've got Disciple and the Playboy Prince Lance Rivera. And I've had on the Playboy Prince Lance Rivera a couple of times on Sportswire Radio, and he's an interesting guy because he's the Wrestle Island World Champion. He's the KO Vertigo briefcase winner. That's in the Knockout Wrestling, and then in Kingdom of Wrestling, he holds their crown. So he's literally got 3 different championships of some sort. Disciple's got 2 titles. We've got the Playtime Mafia and the Modern Day Mafia. I mean, that's been a dream match that people have wanted to see. I mean, so many great matches. Go to the Tommy Dillon Instagram and Facebook page, Wildcard Tommy Dillon, for more information. Definitely support this cause. It is for a great cause. Also, Wrestling Appreciation Society wants to say, we appreciate your support toward our Cancer Research UK cause, Kyle. It's a big help for those in need. No bad deed there. Completely agree with that. Absolutely. And you have my full support here on Sportswire Radio, and I look forward to resuming coverage for Deadline for Wrestling Appreciation Society, which, by the way, is April the 29th. So we're still a little bit of ways to go, but we're not that far away here. Also, the Modern Day Mafia have tuned in here. They give kind of a smiley face because they obviously are talking about the show, and they certainly want to see what happens. And I think that reminds me almost here. Mr. Sportswire Carl Kennedy, because I think we kind of spoke about the modern day mafia, just maybe, and the society down the road, and some different things. You guys kind of went back and forth when Joel Cobra was
Yep.
here. I mean, anything you want to say to them before I do eventually come back to the Nomad Dalton Garrett and Champagne Charlie of the first class? Anything you want to say to those guys?
I've trained a bit with Joe. Unfortunately, was injured, and I was a rookie, if you will, at that time. So I was incredibly appreciative for him to that knowledge that he did at that time. As much as people like to think I'm not this, I'm this disrespectful, whatever, that does nothing but shit on other people and other promotions and what have you. No, I don't take it for granted. And I'm very appreciative of the words and the help that Joel Cobra of the Modern Day Mafia bestowed upon me all those months back. So yeah, absolutely one day it would be a pleasure and an honor to tear it up, maybe in singles action, myself and Joel, or tag team action. It would be a pleasure. We'd blow the roof off the bloody place. So one day down the line, be an absolute honor.
Absolutely. And we would love to hope that management would be listening in Nonstop Action Wrestling, and that would be a match I think a lot of people would want to see here. Also, we'll go back to that. Uncle Ralph says MDM will do the talking in the ring. As I've said before, deeds, not words. And Uncle Ralph has always been a shrewd man. He knows the business, and smart words there. Also, let me get to a few more comments. Connor Cage says, always a scapegoat, always someone else's fault. That's the Golden Boy who we saw win the Rumble there at the Nuclear Winter. But also, interesting enough, Supersonic Sammy Blue, before I get to some other tag teams in a second, says, a big shocker, but I'm weirdly rooting for the Society to win those titles. They're Enso through and through, and despite their actions against me, I hope they win. Would be surprised if some of the other teams knew the postcode to the Asylum. And that's interesting because I remember when I had Disciple on before he took the Nonstop Action Wrestling World Class title away from Tommy Dillon. There is a sense in NSAW that at the end of the day, when outsiders or those who are perceived to be known in other companies, guys and gals do stick together. So in a way, Supersonic Sammy Blue gives a nod of respect or a kind of tip to the hat to you guys. So maybe that is a sign of things to come. I don't know, but I definitely think that the Society are on the way to getting gold here. But I want to come back to a team here first that I saw a photo you most recently posted of doing some damage to them that they were on last Monday, by the way. And they're the first class, the Nomad Dalton Garrett and Champagne Charlie, and between them have 4 championships. We did see them in Nonstop Action Wrestling's Nuclear Winter rather dispose of Young Horace and the Cult of Killjoy, Dan Robertson, who might have made the most smartest decision anybody could have done, and just basically walk out from those guys and let Young Horace be fed to the Lions. But let me bring up their comments specifically, and let me tell you what they had to say, and you give us what you think. Champagne Charlie says, blah, 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 talk a big game, get 0 to show for it. And then the Nomad Dalton Garrett says, good one, Charlie. I mean, so do you want to say anything to these guys? They've recently been in Nonstop Action Wrestling. They certainly have made a name for themselves in other promotions. They got 4 championships between them. Now it's your chance to respond to them, the Lawman Carl Kennedy.
It's ironic that both of them had said, I just talk and I've got nothing to show for it. And good one, Charlie. Good one. Hey. I couldn't care less. I eliminated both of you, if you forget, in the Winter Rumble at Nuclear Winter. I bet you forget that, don't you? I gave you a pretty good pounding, and then right out the Rumble you went, Mr. Champagne Charlie. Same with you, Nomad. Sure, it took a few more people, but again, got rid of you eventually. So you can talk this big game, and you can have all these accolades and all these championships. But trust me, and this is from someone that doesn't have one at the moment, as you've kindly pointed out, it's a lot harder to keep a title than it is to win one. So trust me, one day, could be one day very soon. It couldn't only not be for title first class, it could be no title first class. And if and when the society get in there with you, it will be just that. End of the day, Nomad, Charlie, I have all the respect in the world for you gents. But when I try and show my appreciation and respect to fellow people like yourselves who've been in this business a hell of a lot longer than I have, for some weird reason it isn't quite retorted. That appreciation isn't given back. And maybe that's why I feel like I've got a bit of chip on my shoulder. Maybe that's why I've got a little bit of an edge to myself nowadays. Maybe that's why I get a little bit angry and pissed off with people. Because I'm sick of showing my appreciation and respect for people, these veterans, if you will, and they not give it right back. You are the past. I am the future. So give me my respect, just like I've given you yours, gentlemen, and thank you.
It's interesting, though, that you did say, and I have a ton of comments from the Nomad Dalton Garrett, but something you said, though, I do think makes a lot of sense in that, yes, getting a title is one thing, but maintaining it, and look at what Tommy Dillon, right? Tommy Dillon couldn't keep the Nonstop Action Wrestling world-class title, and I mean, Disciple has been on a whole nother level, whether you like him or not. I know some don't like him here. I know some in Enso really don't like him. But I mean, what he's done in GT Ministries, what I just saw him do to Bentley, what I've seen him do to Gareth Angel, wrestler after wrestler wanted to accomplish that. Look at what he's done in Nonstop Action Wrestling, putting that title up there. So being a champion, keeping it, is a lot harder than getting there. But let me come back to the Nomad Dalton Garrett. I do have the Irish Wonder Chris Murphy, who does say, by the way, Supersonic Sammy Blue really shouldn't be focusing on other people's matches. He should be focusing on me since I'm taking that title from him. You know what? That's a point that I did make a little while ago. The Irish Wonder Chris Murphy, who's got a couple of championships in his own right, who knows about winning titles, who knows about keeping them, he's got a lot to worry about there, Supersonic Sammy Blue. So I'll let those guys sort that out. But here's what the Nomad Dalton Garrett has to say. How did my stunner taste, Kennedy? I've got a pinfall victory over you, Lawman. I respect you. I don't like
you. You know, there's plenty I could say to that. Sure, it doesn't feel good when you get stone cold stunned. Doesn't feel good when you get any move hit upon you. It's wrestling. Sure. As JR said, this ain't ballet. You know, it hurts. So yeah, of course it didn't taste nice, if you will. So you know what? Don't worry. How did it feel getting eliminated from this rookie that is all talk, no action, that you don't like? How did that feel for a 3-time champion to get eliminated by this nobody? How did that feel? Huh? It felt real good for me. Very sign of things to come, gents. So, you know, sometime when we win the NSAW Tag Team Championships, if you boys want to hop on your first class jet or your first class train or your first class car and travel your first class asses to first class Be Strong and get in the first class asylum inside that first class ring, I will handle your asses first class style, and we will embarrass you again like we did at Nuclear Winter for those tag titles. It's not an if, it's a when. So when we win the tag titles, this is an open invitation for the first class of professional wrestling to come down to the asylum whenever they're training day. It could be an asylum lockdown special episode like we've been doing. It could be a show, Bring your first class backsides here, and we will give you a first class ass whooping courtesy of the society. Not if, but when we win those tag team championships. All right, boys?
Interesting. I have some more comments because the guys seem to be triggered, and I think the Nomad Dalton Garrett might be referring to a pinfall victory at a birthday party. So I don't know if that's in the record books
Exactly.
over at
Exactly. How embarrassing is that?
I don't know. Does that count in the record books? I mean, as far as I know, I haven't seen that.
For a veteran of 20 plus years with 3 championships, as he likes to keep pointing out, to brag about hitting me with a stunner and beating me at a child's birthday party. By the way, I would kick that child's ass just as quick as I would kick yours. Screw that child, screw that party. I was only there because I was paid to be. So, I could care less.
I'm not going to get into who's being
It's not in the record books.
Well, that's the point I think that we need to focus on here. But I will say that when we did have the Nomad Dalton Garrett and Champagne Charlie last week on Sportswire Radio, we did hear from management on maybe eventually seeing them in this company once again. So I think there are people that might want to say that we'd like to see the first class and the society mix it up. And the society seem like they're on a fast track to winning gold next week at the Tommy Dillon Show. But enough about me, because I've got a ton of comments here. Also, wait, this is from Champagne Charlie. We didn't show respect to you. You were the one, you decided to come after us. Don't think that for a second that we would take that lying down. Anytime you and your society buddies, Beavis and Butthead, want to jump on us, bring it on. The Nomad Dalton Garrett says, if you tossed me out by yourself, I'd give you props, but it took you and 5 others. Self-praise is no praise, and he also goes on, not in the record books, but it's in his head.
Again, it's not me bringing it up, it's you. You brought up the fact that you pinned me at a child's birthday party. Screw that child and screw you and screw that shabby little stunner. I got tired. I was bored. I was partying the night before and I was tired because it was my birthday the day before. I think I should be let off. So it's whatever. But it's not in the record books. And I know how fragile your ego is, Nomad, so I know you would like that to be, but it's not. So it's unfortunate for you. Sorry, pal.
Well, I guess that we should wish you a happy belated birthday because we were kind of waiting. Do we say it? Do we know? But you kind of brought it up that you were celebrating in Alpha Town. So happy birthday to you, Mr. Lawman. Many, many more ahead. Also, I think you triggered Tasha Carberry because she says, leave my Savvy out of this. She laughed so hard when you got flattened, Mr. Kennedy. Also, happy belated birthday once again to Savvy. We know Savvy turned 5, but I have an interesting one for you. The Irish Wonder, Chris Murphy, says, Lawman, if you want to have an actual chance of winning a tag team title, maybe you need a new partner. Maybe an Irish tag team partner who's proven he can win tag titles. I mean, does the society work with outsiders? Do you want somebody like the Irish Wonder, Chris Murphy?
I mean, I think I'll pass because this dude has multiple partners, so he's clearly not phased as to just push and go, oh, I'll have you. So no, I'll pass, and plus you're ginger, and I'm not a big fan of redheads. So I'll pass. Thank you. I love Irish people. Don't get me wrong. I'm part Irish myself, but
fair enough.
No, I'm good. You've got a thing with picking and choosing your partners, and I don't do that. We, the society, don't do that. Again, multiple times we've said we are a brotherhood. We are the brethren. You're not exactly the most trustworthy guy, it seems. You can have all the titles you want, but that doesn't make you loyal, as we clearly already know. So,
Okay, well, there's a joke there about the multiple partners, but I'm going to plead the fifth on that because we are a family station on Sportswire. But I wish the Irish Wonder, Chris Murphy, all the best, and I know we'll have him back on Sportswire for sure. But we'll plead the fifth on that. Excuses, excuses. You're a punk, and I can't wait to shut your mouth permanently. Just wait till you see the belt, Tom. Okay, well. I'm sure that we'll see that. But the Irish Wonder, Chris Murphy, apparently has responded. So I'm going to go right to him. Seems like you are passing on and actually winning a tag title. And remember what I told you about trusting a group a few months back.
Listen, again, it's all about loyalty in this society. Remus Kane, Mixed Knights, Callum the Jakester have shown nothing but respect, appreciation, and loyalty, and vice versa. So, it's very rare in wrestling, as I've, only been in this business coming up to 2 years. So I've already been made very aware of how very shady this business is and how two-faced and toxic people can be. So it's a very rarity when you have people in a nice little circle of friends, a brotherhood that you can trust. And I trust the society. I trust Remus Kane. I trust Callum the Jakester. I trust Mixed Knights. And they trust me. And proven by your track record of winning multiple tag titles with multiple different people, you're not a loyal person. So, and that's what I need and what I deserve and what wrestling should be these days. It should be filled with trustworthy, loyal, decent human beings. And unfortunately, it's filled with people like yourself, Chris, people like Nomad, and people like Champion Charlie, who have all these accolades, all these things within the world of wrestling, but don't quite have that one main strength: loyalty, trust. So, because I don't see any tag titles with those boys.
Okay,
So,
you know what?
they've got 4 different titles between themselves and not one tag title. Same with Chris. He's got 10. So it's all about loyalty. It's all about trust in this business. And unfortunately, you don't have much of that anymore. But fortunately for me, again, I have the upgrade in Callum the Jakester. I have Remus Kane, and I have the true boss of non-stop action wrestling, Mixed Knights. I don't need anyone else. I don't want anyone else. All I have is all I want, and it is my brethren, the society. That's all I need. That's all I've got.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. I do have the Irish Wonder responding. There's no loyalty when they are finished with you, and then you'll come back and say I was right. Happens more times than you know, and when you do come to me, I'll tell you exactly the same thing you have said here today. Okay, that's what the Irish Wonder thinks. Respect his thoughts, but we'll move on. Chris Murphy from Supersonic Sammy Blue says, Wrestler, don't worry. It's my main priority, darling. Okay, well, we'll find out here as we are on Sportswire Radio. We are hanging out here for a little while longer with the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy, who has had a lot to say as always. He definitely proved what he said a couple of weeks ago on his video, which you can find on Facebook at the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, Instagram, Mr. Justice Kyle Kennedy, Twitter, the Lawman K Kennedy. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, and if you like what you hear from us on Sportswire Radio, continue to give us a like on Facebook at Sportswire Radio. Also, subscribe to our YouTube page on Sportswire Radio. Also, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You can listen to all of our great content on sportnarium.com/sport. And I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll ask about Remus Kane. I'll ask about Dan Robertson tomorrow because we resume CCW coverage with Fighter Strike 2 because Taylor Troots from the CWO is going to be here. So I will ask him what he thinks about Remus Kane. I will ask him what he thinks about the possibilities of an NSAW competitor like a Dan Robertson even to win their Rumble and go on maybe to take their championship. So you know what? Maybe Saturday is the real kickoff of things because if Remus Kane wins the Rumble at Fighter Strike 2, he goes on to potentially take the title from either Hybrid, who was on last week, or Mad Max Cooper, the former Underground Heavyweight Champion, or Dan Robertson. And certainly next Saturday, we know the Society are going to take gold there. Go ahead, Mr. Sportswire. Here, you see, you want to jump in.
It's not if, it's when Remus wins the Rumble, and I pray to God, no disrespect to Hybrid, but I pray to God that green-haired loser Max Cooper wins. Because let's not forget, he's the man that took me out. He's the reason why I didn't attend CCW. So I pray to a God that I don't believe in that Remus Kane wins the Rumble. Max Cooper beats Hybrid. And then, what a beautiful sight. Vengeance truly is a beautiful art form. And how fitting would it be that the man that took me out takes the title from Hybrid, and then the man that brought me into the Society takes him out and becomes CCW Underground Heavyweight Champion. And then we in the Society can celebrate, and Max Cooper can bugger off back to Scotland with his green little hair tucked between the crack of his ass. I'll see you soon, Greedy. I'll see you real soon, by the way. Anyone from CCW, trust me, you've not seen the last of the Lawman Cal Kennedy. You've certainly not seen the last of Remus Kane, but you sure as hell of Society and Colliery Championship Wrestling. Max Cooper, your ass is in the firing line, and one day I will get my revenge. Believe that.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to ask Taylor that question tomorrow. I know Taylor's going to have a slightly different opinion when it comes to Mad Max Cooper and Hybrid, but I would say if I'm Remus Kane, I would actually agree with you. I would much rather want Mad Max Cooper to take the title from Hybrid, because Hybrid's got an interesting background in his own right. He's a former shoot fighter, and he's done all these different things outside of the wrestling world, and he's almost kind of like what you were last year, where you were kind of the undefeated new Goldberg, and he's taken that mantle up. So I would certainly say if I'm Remus Kane, and if I want to pick somebody to win, I would say I would certainly be going with Mad Max Cooper, because it's, I think, to me, a foregone conclusion. If Remus Kane wins the Rumble Saturday, that he takes the title for Mad Max Cooper. I would definitely agree with you on that. Mad Max Cooper would be a paper champion. There's no question that he's a big-time paper champion. James Barris himself knows that. James Barris himself deep down knows that. And also, Uncle Ralph has said, we've heard it before, and he bottled it. Okay, well, I'm going to ask Taylor those questions tomorrow for more CCW coverage. So we will certainly talk about that, because there's a lot to get into here when it comes to the state of CCW. And I do have a feeling that the Society are going to play a big role in places. We've seen it in Wrestling Appreciation Society. We're going to see it next weekend at the Tommy Dillon Show. We're going to see it in a number of different places. You just don't know where it's going to happen. Remember, what they said months ago, the Society's everywhere, and you just don't know it. But Champagne Charlie apparently wants to respond before I'm about to ask you another question. He says, titles or not, Dalton and I have each other's backs. We've traveled hundreds of miles together, and I would trust him with my life. When the time is right, we will be tag team champions somewhere. Pray you don't win those titles next weekend, because you'll be in our way, which, trust me, you don't want to be. Would you like to directly respond to that?
There is zero intimidation in those words whatsoever. Put the booze down. Put the champagne bottle down, Charlie, because clearly it's getting to your head and it's getting a little fuzzy. Make me embarrass you again like in the nuclear winter. Okay? Your boy, the Nomad, sure, he doesn't have a little bit of a pass because it took 5+ people, sure. But again, still got rid of you, didn't we? So, it's irrelevant, The first class of professional wrestling, they can make their way up to us, or we can make our way down to them, and that match will be a slobber knocker. And trust me when I say this, it will not disappoint. And again, the Society will embarrass the first class of professional wrestling. The Nomad, don't look at it. and Champagne Charlie. Simple as.
Well, I'll tell you what here. Something tells me that if I'm in the management of Nonstop Action Wrestling, again, I'm not going to go down that road. We spoke about in depth the issues between different sides. But if you were looking to be fair, you might want to bring in the Nomad Dalton Garrett and Champagne Charlie once again, because something tells me if you want to do good business, right? Good business is about bringing matches together that people might want to see. And I might want to see the society in the first class. I think a lot of people in Swinton, a lot of people at the B Strong Performance Center would want to see the battle of these two premier factions, groups, tag teams, whatever you want to call them. I think, and I know so a lot of people would love to see that based on the reactions here on social media. Also, the Nomad Dalton Garrett says, you are banging on like it was all you, bro. You're not fit to carry my bags, dude.
I mean, you're right, because I ain't no bag carrier. I'm a professional wrestler, old man. And again, I'm the future, and you're the.
Okay, we are waiting back here for the Lawman Kyle Kennedy. We guess I had a technical issue on his end. We hope to get him back shortly, and certainly there we go. There we go. The Lawman Kyle Kennedy. I guess maybe the first class. We're trying to first class
Where
take
did,
down the
where did I
lifeboat.
leave off?
Well, you spoke about the fact that basically, look,
You know,
you're not a bad carrier. You're technically a former world champion, by the way. Technically, you are a former world champion. I would point out.
Well, yeah, but certain people don't want to acknowledge that. But you know what? Again, I'm not a bag carrier. I'm a professional wrestler. Unlike Nomad over here, I'm not the past. I'm the future. I'm 26 years young, where he's like, what, 50, 60, 100? I don't know. Couldn't care less.
I don't know. I don't know what it says on his birth certificate. I certainly don't know that question. Yeah.
But listen, you can come here and throw all these jabs and say I'm a bag carrier, dude. That's fine. I could care less about your opinion, and you could care less about mine, and that's okay, because again, I'm a professional wrestler, and when we have problems, where do we go to solve those problems? Oh yeah, in the middle of a professional wrestling ring. So if and when you see fit, I don't care if you do it on my time, I don't care if you do it on your time, but it's going to happen. I'm not going to be carrying your bags, but I will carry your ass through a fantastic, top-notch match, the best you ever had in your life. I'll carry you to that, sunshine. How's about that? So when it happens, if and when it happens, one day down the line, whether it's singles, Charlie and Kyle Kennedy, or Nomad and Kyle Kennedy, or sure, we can get together and we can do a little tag team. I don't mind. Either way, the society, Kyle Kennedy, comes out on top, and the past stays exactly where it is in the past. And the future, this guy, right to the top. That's where I'm going, baby. Right to the top of this business. Doing things that you could never do. Doing things that you could only dream of, Charlie. Doing things that you could only dream of, Dalton. You don't got what it takes. You don't have the passion and the drive that I do. If you did, you wouldn't be crying and complaining in the comment sections of a podcast. You'd be out there doing the work. So for this young buck bag carrier, trust me, when it happens, I will carry your old decrepit asses through a match of a lifetime, and then we'll embarrass you again and continue to do so until we get bored, which will put probably pretty quickly. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will say this: when the Lawman Kyle Kennedy is on Sportswire Radio, we usually get the most comments, the most views, the most responses, the most talk on social media. When he comes on, people seem to talk, and people seem to want more. So I will certainly say that when the Lawman Kyle Kennedy is here, there's somebody that always has something that they're talking about. Champagne Charlie gives the smiley laughing emojis. Craven Rage, who is from Wrestling Championship Entertainment, says he'd love to see the Lawman come to the state of Wisconsin. That's up to management there in Wrestling Championship Entertainment. If they can afford the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, if they can pay the big bucks, the big pounds, then he will travel. But that's certainly a question I would have to
You
say that's up for management.
you pay for the hotel. You pay for the plane ticket. I'll pay for the hotel.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. That could be a deal. I
I'll
mean,
see that.
if I was the promoter, I would just pay for the hotel and the flight. But hey, that's me, right? But that not everybody's Tom Bryce. Everybody's got different opinions. But the Nomad Dalton Garrett says, professional campaigner. You say I'm the past, mate. I'm still relevant. My bookings alone here on Sportswire Radio, which should tell you all you need. So I mean, CCW certainly offered these guys an opportunity to wrestle in their shows. So there might be a partial point. He also says, I'm 40. Just like fine wine, I get better with age. You're going to age like milk. Ooh. Well, what do you want to say to that?
Listen, I think you should be thanking Bricey Baby for those bookings because if it weren't for him bringing you on Spotify Radio, you would still just be swindling downstairs and shot. Oh, what? You'd still be down there in the slums, all right, mate? Down there in Johnny old, little wonderful time, eating your little I don't know. I'm going to stop doing that because I'm not one for impressions. Because again, I'm a
You
professional
did a
wrestler,
good
not an
one though for Johnny
impressionist.
Franchise. That guy, you did a real. That was on par, I have to say. That was
Uh,
damn good.
but listen, you can be 40, you can be 30, you can be 20, you can be 10, you could be the little fetus in a womb. I could care less. I will outclass you. I will out wrestle you. I will out talk you. I will outlook you because it looks to me like that. But by the time you were my age, you lost all your hair. The only hair you have on you is the one on your face. You should really save it because it doesn't suit you, my guy. But listen,
Ooh.
you can say I'm going to age like milk. That's you can say your stupid derogatory little jokes, but the only thing that stinks and is going to be thick and clumpy and cheesy and boring is the career of the first class of professional wrestling once the society is done with you. You can pretend like you're going to age like fine wine, which, by the way, I'm not one for wine. Wine sucks. It tastes horrible. I'm more of a cider or beer guy, to be honest. But listen, fine wine. But by the time I'm done with you, you won't wish anything. You'll be wishing for death, because that's how much pain we're going to put you in the moment you step in the ring, not with the first class, but with the final judgment that is the society.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm gonna try to parcel through all this, and I know I have more comments, but I'm gonna say this: if management in Nonstop Action Wrestling or any company doesn't want to put the society and the first class out there in the ring, I'll make the offer. Want to see these guys talk on Sportswire Radio so it leads to that point, or if I have to promote it myself with pounds, we've got some resources here if we need to do that. I mean, it's a match that I think it needs to happen. Whether it's milk, beer you drink, whether it's age, whether it's championships, whatever it might be, this needs to happen. I don't know what promoter's listening. I don't know what Joshua Snow or James Barris thinks or anybody else in Wrestling Appreciation Society. The society in the first class, the only way it's going to end is in a ring. Somebody needs to make it happen. If we need to put these guys together on Sportswire Radio, let them talk it out. Be that as it may. But that's my proposal out there. I will come back to the first class because they have a bunch of comments. Bonkers Baldwin says here, first time I've seen someone live stream from a potato, and that's why you're off the stream because that has nothing to do with anything. The Nomad Dalton Garrett says, I'm from West London, not East London, you muppet. You've really put me in my place tonight. Not. Champagne Charlie wants to say, no drive. I've spent 7 long years working hard, trying to prove all the naysayers wrong. I've traveled hundreds of miles up and down the country, and finally my work has paid off. My Immortal Wrestling Fighting Championship speaks for thatself. But I've had it with this. I have an idea. NSAW Management, I hear you have an event in April called Zenith. What if me and Dalton Garrett pick a partner from the NSAW roster and we take on all 3 members of the society in a 6-man tag? What do you think? I mean, this is a big one. This could be breaking news here on Sportswire Radio. Yet again, another show with breaking news. I mean, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy. You want to respond to this? Do you want this? Do you have thoughts on this? And tell us what you may want to think.
Oh, sorry for that. Listen, Charlie, you bore me very much. Very, very much. The only flashy and impressive thing about you is that ring jacket of yours that I know you probably got off eBay for like £2. Nomad, again, you're like a prune or a date. You're this old, dried up thing. I've said it from the beginning. I want the first class. I want to fight Champagne Charlie. I want to fight the Nomad Dalton Garrett. Make it happen. Someone make it happen. Please, because I want to embarrass these schmucks once again. You know, you could put your titles on the line if you're brave enough. If you want to call us out for a match for Zenith, all right, you can do that. That's fine. You find a partner, we find, it doesn't matter. But if you want to add your little thing to it, where you add your partner and challenges, how about this? You put your titles on the line. All 4 of them. Get in contact with whichever company, whichever management, whichever promoters from said companies that have those titles in their ownership that you are holding. Get in contact with all of them. And then get in contact with NSAW and vice versa. And you can find a partner. You can Zenith, doesn't matter. And you can put your titles on the line. And we'll put ours on the line. Why not? Because by the time we get to Zenith, again, like I've mentioned multiple times, the society will be your NSAW Tag Team Champions. Do it. Book it. Anyone. It could be tomorrow. I couldn't find your asses tomorrow. Book it. Someone, please. I want to humble these old people. I'm sick of these old people coming into this business who should have gone long ago, still thinking they've got some stroke. It's embarrassing. You look at someone like me that's young, fit, and hungry, and then you look at someone like them, who ironically call themselves first class, when they're all the way back at Z. They're in the back. We're first class. We're up front. We were getting bookings before Sportswire Radio. You only just recently got bookings thanks to Sportswire. So you can thank me, you can thank Tom, and come Zenith, you can get on your knees, beg and pray for us to please stop. We quit, stop, we'll give you the title, anything. So anywhere, anytime, any place, put your titles on the line, find your partner. We'll put our tag titles on the line come Zenith, because again, there's no doubt we're going to be the tag team champions by then. And we will finish this once and for all. Because you guys like to talk a lot, and I like to talk a lot, but you know what I like more? I like to fight and I like to hurt people. And I know that you boys do too. So why don't we just stuff all this gab in and get on with this? All right, gents?
Well, I'll tell you what, apparently, Richard Knights, he heard what you just said, and he says the society and the first class. So that could maybe be a signal that somebody's listening out there. Somebody wants to see it. And whether the first class are actually on the Nonstop Action Wrestling roster, I'll let other people decide for that. But what I will say is that if they've got championships, we know the society is going to have championships here by next Saturday. Could even be CCW championships also out there with Remus Kane. And once he wins the Rumble this coming Saturday, I mean, maybe the forbidden doors just should be open left and right. I mean, we did say at the very beginning, 2023 was going to be the year of the Lawman Kyle Kennedy. And it looks like to me, what I've learned tonight on Sportswire Radio, is there was a reason why he was a part of the best group of the year at Nonstop Action Wrestling, the Society. Why he was, according to some, the most hated wrestler of the year at Nonstop Action Wrestling. Because we are seeing now a potential of a new battle line between groups, factions, whatever you want to call it, the Society and the first class. Will it happen in a Nonstop Action Wrestling ring in Swinton at the B Strong Performance Center? I don't know that answer. I do know that if I'm Champ Rogers, if he goes by the Super Dad still, or Joshua Snow, who was with us last night, who interrupted, or Richard Knights even, make it happen. Make it happen between the first class and the Society. Because I guarantee you that will sell a lot of tickets. That will draw a lot of pounds. That will draw a lot of social media engagement. And I think that's deep down what the people want to see. Who really is the best group in all of wrestling right now? It's not the Bloodline. It's not the Elite. It's not the Jericho Appreciation Society. No. It's the Society right now. They're the top dogs. The top tier are no longer really in CCW. But the Society and the first class, are those the two best groups? Well, let's find out. Let's find out whether it's at Zenith or anywhere else. Whether it's in a back alley somewhere, a bar, whether it's, who knows, outside the rail yard, whoever it might be, wherever it might be. Let's find out, because I think a lot of people want to. And I want to give a happy birthday to Dave Douglas of the Modern Day Mafia, who just, I think, is saying hello. He has no answer, no response. He just wants to say hello, I guess. That's his way of saying hello. So happy birthday, Dave Douglas. Hope you had a great day. We have a bunch more comments from the Nomad Dalton Garrett. They put you mid-plane even for weight distribution. Everyone wants to see it, and by God, no one wants it more than the first class. And I think the Society wants it also, because I think what you've seen, by the way, I want to say this before I get to closing thoughts. I would just say this, and the first class have been on a couple of times, and we respect what they've done, Champion Charlie, the Nomad Dalton Garrett. But what I would say is this: since Callum and Jake has joined the Society a couple of months ago, the Society have been even more deadlier. They have been even more violent. They have been even more ruthless, and they are even more of a dominant faction in all of professional wrestling right now. I certainly think that the Bloodline pale into comparison to what the Society are going to do in 2023. So I would just say, sometimes there is the old adage, be careful what you wish for, or tread lightly, because the Society are new and improved. They're more deadlier than ever. And then, hey, even Jenny Hayes might be in the mix of things. I mean, so I would just say, be careful what you wish for here. And speaking of CCW, Dustin Hart, one half of the CCW Tag Team Champions, says good evening. So big shout out to Dustin Hart. So CCW is in the house, and I know Dustin, he certainly had a few comments about the first class also. So I certainly know that the CCW locker room is paying attention closely to this development. Maybe it's James Barris who usurps Nonstop Action Wrestling Management, because you could say a lot of things about James Barris, but as a promoter, he has always done the right when it comes to business and to the dollars and cents. So maybe James Barris is the one that books the match, not Joshua Snow, not Champ Rogers. Maybe he's the guy that says, you know what? That's who sells tickets. That's who moves seats. I mean, I'm just saying. James Barris is the kind of guy that would go out and do it. But we'll find out because I'm certainly going to, I'm sure, get some answers here from Nonstop Action Wrestling because we'll have more Nonstop Action Wrestling coverage very soon because the rock idol of the UK, Jenny Hayes, is coming back on February the 9th, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow. And Remus Kane, you're going to break it here. Remus Kane is in the house 2 weeks from today in your spot. So we could not think of a better way than to get everybody ready for Nonstop Action Wrestling's Fatal Attraction by giving you world-to-world coverage just before the big event, February the 11th, with Jenny Hayes and Remus Kane. So I think the society is going to certainly say we have a lot to talk about it because I have a feeling Remus Kane, who hasn't been with us in a long time, could have a Rumble victory over his belt, could be a very, very jovial, a very, very victorious Remus Kane. Listen, February the 8th could be the Remus Kane victory celebration for all we know. Could be a celebration ahead for Remus Kane. And the Nomad Dalton Garrett says, whoever books it, book it. The match of the year, no ifs, buts, or maybes. I'll tell you what, if you think the Playtime Mafia and the Modern Day Mafia are going to be a big match in tag action, you wait till the Society and the First Class square off somewhere. All I'm saying, Mafia versus Mafia, forget that. Society and First Class, that's a main event in any company. So we have a lot to talk about here coming up again. But the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, I know that you are a very, very busy man right now. You have got a lot going on. You are being talked about left and right, and I am sure that we have not heard the last of you on Sportswire Radio. And also, Champagne Charlie says he wants a contract in front of him right now to sign. And I'll say this before I get to your closing thoughts. I'm surprised Joshua Snow isn't here to come on and get that contract out and email it to you and these guys. So, I mean, something's got to give here. Something's got to give. But I want to give you the floor, my friend. I want to give you some closing thoughts. Anything you want to plug, share, say, anything else you want to say. And I'll say it one more time. Management, get that contract ready. Get it to both sides. Let's make it happen. If Nonstop Action Wrestling doesn't, Gareth Angel, if he's still alive, James Barris, whoever's running the LWF these days, whether it's ALP and KOW, Commissioner Steele's underlings and Kingdom of Wrestling, make this match out. Even Wrestling Appreciation Society, you're listening. Make this happen. UKW, Immortal, do it. Just do it, baby. You can get the floor now, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy.
Well, okay. Just next Saturday, the 4th, we have we've got the big day Wrestle for Kirkwood Hospice. Again, for a great cause. Donations and entries on the door, I believe it is. So just show up, donate, get your butts in seats, and enjoy a fantastic day, evening show of some of the best UK talent. And then the following week, Fatal Attraction. You can get your tickets, ticketsource.com. All you have to do is go on the website to Ticket Source in Non-Stop Action Wrestling, and that will be the first thing that pops up is the link where you can go ahead and purchase your tickets for Fatal Attraction. So first event of the year for NSAW. And then of course we've got tickets already as well. I'm not sure how you go about that. I believe it's somewhere on the University of Huntsville site.
Well, we're gonna get them on in a couple of weeks.
WAS deadline somewhere.
We'll take care of that. We'll take care of that for sure.
So yeah. But no, other than that, just Remus, Dan, represent this week. I know you will. Remus, come home to the society with a rumble and a championship match in your back pocket. Dan, I wish you all the luck in the world, my man, my fellow wrestle kid. You know, I've got nothing but respect for you, but unfortunately, it's just not going to be your night. Yeah, good luck to everyone at CCW. Good luck to everyone at UKW this weekend. It's going to be a fantastic year of professional wrestling. It's going to be the hottest year, I think, for UK wrestling itself. And as I've said multiple times, I'm never going to get tired of saying it. This year, 2023, Tom has said it himself, is the year of the Lawman. I am no longer sitting back and accepting that I just have to wait my turn. I'm taking everything and leaving nothing behind. I'm sick to the back teeth of people getting championships, main events, matchups that I and the society deserve. I'm sick of waiting. I'm no longer going to just simply allow it to happen anymore. Come hell or high water, this year, the end of 2023, the society will end 2023, and we sure as hell are going to begin 2023 with nothing but destruction in our path and championships around us. Thank you, Tom. Once again, it's always a pleasure.
And I want everybody to follow the Lawman Kyle Kennedy on Instagram, Mr. Justice Kyle Kennedy, the Lawman K Kennedy on Twitter, also Facebook and YouTube. Please like and follow his pages. Also, Nonstop Action Wrestling, Nonstop Action Wrestling on Facebook, Nonstop Action Wrestling Universe. Join their group as well. NSAW Wrestling UK on Instagram, NSAW_UK, I believe it is on Twitter. Also, YouTube, Nonstop Action Wrestling, and also please support the Tommy Dillon event. We will have more coverage of that as well throughout the week on Sportswire Radio. And I promise you, tomorrow night, I'm going to be asking a lot about the society when it comes to Tailored Truths, because there is going to be, I think, this is just the beginning. This is the declaration that Kyle Kennedy has made here. And no, it's not a fact. It's a spoiler alert. Kyle Kennedy is going to have gold up the wad. The society, I believe, are going to be the dominant group in professional wrestling, because the bloodline, they're just passing the torch right now to the society. I promise you that much. And I agree with you 1,000% on one more thing. This is definitely going to be the best year yet for UK wrestling, and covering it for 2 years, I think it gets better and better each year. And I see so many new companies. And my last final point, if you're Firestar Wrestling, Breakout Pro Wrestling, all I'm going to say is, spoiler alert, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, the society, you might as well sign them up now, get the contract, because Breakout Pro Wrestling has the first class. Well, why not the society? If you're Mark Taylor and you're Slugger Hampton, who's now a part of that company in management, do yourselves a favor. If you have the first class, you better bring the society with you, because the society are everywhere. So whoever's listening out there from those companies, do yourself a favor, get the society. The Lawman Kyle Kennedy, go get him next weekend. Bring home those belts. Only the beginning. Looking forward to having you back here once again. And one more time, whoever's listening, make that match happen. The society and the first class. My friend, go get him out there next weekend. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, we are here on Sportswire Radio with the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy, who has told us exactly why 2023 is going to be the year of the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy, and that starts next weekend at the Tommy Dillon Wrestling for Kirkwood charity show. For more information, go to Tommy Dillon's pages on Instagram and Facebook. That's Wildcard Tommy Dillon. You can also find more information on a number of different places, including Nonstop Action Wrestling, Wrestling Appreciation Society. And the society will start their course to gaining more gold. And Remus Kane, we also broke the news, will be with us Wednesday, February the 8th. Jenny Hayes, Thursday, February the 9th. And I have a feeling we are going to be speaking a lot more wall-to-wall society, nonstop action wrestling, fatal attraction coverage. And tomorrow night, 9 p.m. live, we'll have Taylor Trutz from the CWO and CCW. So stay tuned for that. If you're on sportnarium.com/player, you'll go back to your regularly scheduled programming. Thank you, everybody, here for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. We are here on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio. Thank you.